Welcome on in, weebs and otakus. Now it's been a minute since I uploaded my last video and I do apologize for that. This video is going to be something similar to what I did back in October, which was create a manga list for the month of October. That being said, I did find a hefty amount of omnibus editions that are coming out in the month of December. But during the making of this video, these volumes are actually already released, so you guys can just go and grab them right now. So let's start the video off with a bang. The first volume is K-On! Complete Omnibus Edition. Now I'm not sure what's the better or more appropriate way to pronounce the title, because I usually just say K-On! Instead of Con. I haven't really heard anyone say Con, because that sounds a little weird.
Con.
Now for those of you that are actually new to this series, the story revolves around a group of girls that end up making a club in their school, and they pretty much form a band and just to have a good time, you know, nothing too serious, just having a good time, and they call it the after school, something like that, after school tea club, I believe it was. I watched the anime back in like 2012 and somehow I still sort of remember this. So if you guys haven't already guessed, it's a pretty chill anime. It's kind of like, I would say it's similar to Slice of Life. It's very chill, very comedic, it doesn't take itself too seriously. So I do recommend, if you guys want a chill read and a relaxing read, to check this omnibus out. It is the complete omnibus, like I've already stated. It's also published by Yen Press, so that's a plus because their volumes and their publishing quality is pretty up there, so I can vouch for them. Another thing I want to mention about this release is that if you guys want to collect the individual volumes of K-On!, they're actually cost way more. It's gonna cost you quite a bit to get the individual volumes. So the fact that they're released in omnibus edition actually saves us a lot of trouble, like the collectors as well. Like imagine paying, I think it's about like, it's more than 20 bucks per volume. But me personally, I'm happy with the omnibus. I will be getting it eventually. Right now it's about 50 bucks, so it's not in my price range right now, but I will wait for a sale. So that being said, that's pretty much it for my number one pick. I'm going to segue right into number two here, which is going to be Thunderbolt Fantasy. So this first omnibus volume actually covers volumes 1 and 2, and then there will be a second omnibus volume which is going to cover the last 2 volumes. So pretty much you'll have the complete collection there compiled into 2 omnibus volumes. Now Thunderbolt Fantasy is actually the complete opposite of the previous volume, K-On! The reason I say that is because Thunderbolt Fantasy, as you guys can tell from the title of the manga, it's a fantasy manga volume. To sum up the story, it revolves around an ancient kingdom where some type of warlord is trying to possess a powerful sword that is being guarded. The reason it's being guarded is because it's pretty OP, it's overpowered, and that sword was used to smite demons. So I can definitely recommend this manga for people that are into fantasy stories, anything to do with swords, you know, magic and stuff. This is definitely something that would be right up your alley. Thunderbolt Fantasy is actually published by 7 Seas Entertainment. They're pretty solid. I haven't had any issues with 7 Seas. Their publications for the most part are pretty good. Currently the price point for this volume is about $20, that's in Canadian, so for USD it's definitely going to be a bit lower than that, probably around $16-17, maybe even $15. But yeah guys, that's basically it for my number 2 pick. We're going to go straight into number 3, which is going to be, I believe it's called Our Torsos Align. The title is a little bit weird. This manga is actually the one that intrigued me the most. Once again, it's an omnibus edition. This one is complete though. It's just a single volume. The reason this manga intrigued me is because I'm a huge fan of episodic anime, episodic manga, anything that has like kind of like short stories. And this manga is exactly that. It's just short stories, a bunch of different stories compiled into an omnibus form. Now the stories in Our Torsos Align are centered around animals or beasts that end up developing feelings or fall in love with humans. Now I know what some of you guys might be thinking, like this is kind of weird, this is kind of whack. I don't know if this is something I want to read, but it's not what you're thinking. The stories are actually more mature. I've read some of it online. I've seen some sample snippets of the manga. The artwork looks really cool. It's pretty detailed, and the stories themselves are more mature and meant for a more mature audience. And this one is also published by 7 Seas Entertainment. Definitely something I would recommend off this list, especially for people who are into episodic stories, episodic anime. Anyway, that's it for my number 3 pick. We're gonna go straight into number 4, which is Les Miserables. I think that's how you pronounce that, Les Miserables. I took French classes, guys, so... But yeah, once again, this is released by 7 Seas Entertainment. And it is 472 pages, so it's a pretty hefty omnibus volume. This covers volumes 1 and 2 of Les Miserables. And it comes at a pretty decent price point of $20, so I mean, it's definitely worth checking out for any omnibus collector. Now, if you guys don't already know, Les Miserables is actually a novel that was previously released way back in the day, like, I think this was in like 1860s. Now, I can't really say how faithful the manga is to the original novel. Either way, I think it's pretty cool that they adapted a French novel from back in the 1860s into a manga form. The art style as well looks pretty unique and interesting. It actually kind of reminds me of Levius. It does have its own style to it, so if you guys are into that kind of artwork, definitely check out Les Miserables. Might be something that's right up your alley. So that sums up my number 4 spot. Let's go right into number 5, which is going to be Puella Magi Rico Magica. Okay, that name is kind of weird, I know. Now, I have covered Puella Magi, the original omnibus, on this channel in the past. This was like 5-6 months ago. Now, this is an omnibus of, which I believe is a spin-off. It's a spin-off. You got a new main character whose name is Oriko. I have read some of this. I haven't finished reading it though, but from what I've read, it's pretty much, if you guys love Puella Magi, you guys pretty much know what you're getting into if you want more of the same. It's 472 pages, and it is obviously published by the original publisher of the first omnibus volume, which is Yen Press. Now, the story for this revolves around, like I've already said, Oriko, which is the new protagonist. She actually already knows what happens if people accept Kyuubi's power. I don't want to go over any spoilers, obviously. I'm just doing a small little summary for this volume. But pretty much she knows what happens if people accept Kyuubi's powers. So she ends up having a vision in the future where she sees a certain witch that basically ends up destroying everything. So she takes it upon herself, since she saw this vision, to find that girl and to prevent her from becoming a magical girl in the first place, so she doesn't become a witch. Overall, pretty interesting story. Once again, if you guys like the original Puella Magi, this is more of the same. You guys are gonna love it. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for my list, and thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully you guys found something that you're interested in. I tried to keep a varied list, try to keep each of the volumes kind of different from the other, so it's not all the same genre. But aside from that, I'll see you guys in the next reaction, unboxing, review, whatever it is, and stay safe, and we'll see you on the next one. This is Rich Taku signing off.